Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Savannah Chrisley reveals true feelings about living with parents. Savannah Chrisley has revealed her true feelings about living with her parents again. This is the first time she has lived with them in 11 or 12 years. So of course this would be a big adjustment to make. However, she has revealed what it is truly like to be living with Todd and Julie Chrisley once again. There is a lot to unfold and uncover when it comes to this. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Todd and Julie Chrisley are now back home after being in federal prison for over 2 years. This is a big change for everyone. They got to come back into their home and get to be with their family and each other again. Todd and Julie were in prison for tax evasion and fraud. However, President Donald Trump decided to pardon them as he did not see that they did anything wrong. This was the biggest blessing the Chrisley family could have asked for. Right before their release, Savannah had given up. However, it all worked out in her favor. Savannah Chrisley has revealed her true feelings about living with her parents again. It seems the situation is getting to be a lot. It's a challenge, especially to all of us being under one roof. It's great. I love it. I would have begged for this a year ago, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Imagine living with your parents again after being out of the house for 11 or 12 years. That's a lot. I like to go have me a glass of wine or a cocktail. I mean, I am 28. Almost 28 years old. Todd Chrisley does not agree with that. Savannah and Todd may not agree on a lot. However, in the end, she is just happy to have her parents home. It seems as though Savannah thinks living with her parents again is a lot. Not that she does not enjoy it and appreciate that they are home, but it is a big adjustment to make. She has said that she was moving out of the home on August 1. So she needed her space back for herself for the first time in years. It is also a big change that she does not have to fully take care of her younger siblings anymore. What do you think about this? Do you think living with Todd and Julie would be a lot? Sound off in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts on this. Savannah Chrisley has never shied away from letting the cameras into her life. As a reality star who rose to fame through Chrisley Knows Best, Savannah has grown up in front of millions, cameras capturing the highs, lows, and every chaotic family dinner in between. But now, in an emotional and refreshingly candid reveal, Savannah is opening up about what it really felt like growing up under the same roof as her famous, perfection-obsessed parents, Todd and Julie Chrisley. It wasn't always as glamorous as people thought. Savannah begins, sitting on the set of her podcast, Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley. Yeah, we had designer clothes, big houses, and people assumed everything was perfect. But honestly, sometimes it felt like I was living in a pressure cooker. From the outside, the Chrisleys were television's version of Southern Charm meets Beverly Hills polish. Todd, with his razor-sharp wit and controlling nature, often stole the show with his dramatic flair. Julie, ever the Southern belle, was the family's calm and collected backbone. But according to Savannah, behind all the camera lights and luxury was a complex family dynamic that left her feeling conflicted. I love my parents more than anything, Savannah quickly clarifies, her voice thick with emotion. But growing up with them was intense. My dad always wanted everything to be perfect. The clothes, the grades, the way we spoke. It was like we were constantly performing, even when the cameras weren't rolling. Living in the Chrisley household meant adhering to strict rules. Phones were monitored, curfews were enforced with military precision, and any sign of rebellion was swiftly handled, not with grounding, but with long lectures, emotional debates, and occasionally, tears. Savannah, now in her late 20s, reflects on those times with a mix of gratitude and exhaustion. Looking back, I realize how much my parents sacrificed for us. They worked hard to give us a life they never had. But in doing so, they also created this world where being vulnerable felt like weakness, she says. I always had to smile, always had to be the good girl, but I was struggling inside. Savannah's revelation comes at a time when she's had to step into a maternal role herself. Following Todd and Julie's incarceration, Savannah became the legal guardian of her younger siblings, Grayson and Chloe. Suddenly, the daughter once under her parents' watchful eyes became the one responsible for protecting her family. Now I get it, she says, her voice softening. Now I understand why my parents did what they did. But it doesn't mean it was easy. Savannah recalls countless moments during her teenage years when she'd lock herself in her room, silently questioning if she was enough, not just for the cameras, but for her parents' high expectations. There were nights I'd cry myself to sleep. I wanted to make them proud, but sometimes it felt like I was losing myself in the process. Like I wasn't Savannah, I was just another Chrisley on the show, she says. Still, she acknowledges that her upbringing wasn't entirely oppressive. There were fun-filled vacations, dance parties in the kitchen, and moments of pure, unfiltered love that weren't scripted. My parents loved big. They disciplined big, but they also loved big. And that's something I carry with me today. When asked about the most difficult part of living with her parents, Savannah doesn't hesitate. The hardest part was the lack of emotional space, she says. We were always so busy being a brand, being a family business, that sometimes we forgot to just be a family. To just sit in silence, cry together, or say, I don't feel okay today. We didn't have that room. Vulnerability wasn't something we practiced. But the tides began to shift as Savannah grew older and began carving out her own identity, one that extended beyond reality TV fame and the perfect daughter persona. Her decision to start her podcast, speak on mental health, and advocate for her younger siblings came from a need to find her voice. Living with my parents shaped me, no doubt about it, Savannah says. But I had to unlearn some of the things I was taught. Like it's okay to fail. It's okay to say no. And it's okay not to have your hair perfectly curled at 7 a.m. Now, with her parents behind bars and the weight of responsibility heavy on her shoulders, Savannah is more reflective than ever. She's not bitter. If anything, she's grateful for the resilience her upbringing gave her. But she also wants people to know that her life wasn't just photo shoots and sassy one-liners. It's easy to look at a reality show and think, wow, they have it all, Savannah says. But living with my parents meant I had to grow up fast. I had to navigate fame, pressure, and now loss, while still trying to be a normal young woman figuring out her place in the world.